Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In anticipation of the release of Heroic Molten Core, I have been busy at work determining what exactly happens in Molten Core anyway, and I have now completely revamped the method guides to Molten Core, including all of the mechanics of this raid. You can find a link down below in the description of those guides, and in this video I'm going to tell you 8 secrets of Molten Core. First, Luciferin. If you're XP farming in Molten Core with a friend, killing Luciferin with unbound spam is the fastest way to do it. And why is Luciferin so vulnerable to those unbound minis? Well, it does not have a damage shield at phase transitions like many bosses have, and also Luciferin actually sets its own gold to 0 at phase transitions, so right after a phase change, it's unable to answer you. Magmadar. I'm sure you have noticed a lot of earth elementals at Magmadar, just surprisingly coming towards your base. You might be surprised to know that none of those earth elementals actually come from Magmadar's deck. They are all timed spawns and they follow a very specific pattern. So first on the middle left, then in the far right, then in the middle right, and then far left. Those 4 spawn spots. Every 30 seconds there's going to be an earth elemental starting from 559, and they follow that rotation pattern throughout the fight. So now you can be better prepared for when the next one comes. Gehennas and Shasra, sometimes they just shoot at a single minion, sometimes they evaporate your entire push with their AoE. But did you know that they have actually very specific rules on when they use their AoE? Shasra, the blue one, only uses this area of effect ability if it targets a ground mini. Whereas Gehennas, the red one, only uses its area effect ability if it targets a flying mini. Neither of the bosses change their targets unless they manage to kill their target, so sometimes you can get ground minis close to Shasra if it's fighting against a flying mini, or flying minis near Gehennas if it fights against a ground mini, but the AoE use is completely dependent on what type of target they have. Gar and its Fire Swan have an anti-magic pulse that happens every 4 seconds. It cleanses them of frost, poison, burn, and curiously enough, living bomb. And now with Living Bomb taking 5 seconds to explode, that means that they are completely immune to Living Bomb. You cannot Living Bomb Gar or the Fire Swan at all. The pulse also removes Bloodlust and Stealth from your nearby minis. Baron has 75% resistance against elemental damage, much more than usual resistant, which gives 50%. However, in the game files, this armor ability is actually called Armor Elemental Aspect Armor Small, compared to Armor Elemental Aspect Armor, which is just 50%. So it's a little bit curious how the stronger armor is described as small in the game files, and whether the designers really thought this through on what resistant percentage they were actually setting for Geddon. Flyer strategy is quite popular against Golmak. It's definitely my favorite strategy against the boss, but it might not have come to pass. Originally, Golmak was supposed to summon a 3rd Gore Rager. There's 2 Gore Ragers, they're guarding the horizontal lanes. He was supposed to summon a 3rd one by his side at the start of the last phase. And most of the code of this is still in the files, but the mechanic was pulled in testing, so it's not broken, it was intentionally pulled. But if there was actually a Gore Rager right next to Golmak in the last phase, then the immolate from that would just kill all of the small flyers, like if Dire Battling is there, and who knows where it would charge. Well, the charge part is not fully implemented, so they cut it before they did that, but some interesting things could have happened, and Golmak could have been a lot more difficult. The last phase of Ragnar's is a race. You're frantically trying to defend, and typically you should drop some Wellpex and execute some maybe Eclipses and stuff like that on top of Ragnar's. And there's one aspect that you don't often get to see with that strategy, and that is that in the last phase, Ragnar's also re-summons his Sons of Flame. The mechanic actually works so that Ragnar's is going to re-summon Sons of Flame every 67 seconds. So 67 seconds after the moment the first Sons of Flame has spawned, Ragnar's is going to try to re-summon them again. Any that are still alive are not replaced, but any that have died, there's new Sons of Flame popping up. And that keeps repeating every 67 seconds. Finally, I have another Ragnar's secret to share with you, because did you know Ragnar's both hands are not the same? When you have minis in melee range of Ragnar's has the Wrath ability, which is 360 degrees, this splash that knocks them back and deals damage. And then he hits them. He hits on the other hand with Sulfuras, and the other hand he hits with a fist. And the Sulfuras side, Sulfuras actually has a 20% chance to afflict its targets with burn on top of the melee damage, whereas the fist side only deals the melee damage, which is the same as from Sulfuras. So if you have minis that can survive a hit from Ragnaros, you want them to keep fighting, you want to place them from your perspective to the right of Ragnaros, because that's where they will take less damage. So those were the 8 secrets of Molten Core. There are a lot more secrets of Molten Core available on the Method website. Did you already know all of these ones? Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.